What is the role of Qabd, possession in Islamic Rahn? Imagine you're about to lend something valuable to a friend, but you want to make sure it's protected and clear who controls it. That's where the idea of Qabd, or possession, comes into play in Islamic finance. When it comes to Rahn, or pledging an asset as collateral, Qabd is a key part of making everything work smoothly and legally. In simple terms, Rahn is a contract where one person offers an asset, like property or a car, to secure a debt. The person giving the asset is called the Rahin, and the one receiving it is the Murtahin. The main goal is to make sure the lender has something to fall back on if the borrower cannot pay back the loan. Now, Qabd means taking control of that pledged asset. It's not just about saying you have it. It's about actually having physical or legal control over it. Without Qabd, the contract isn't valid in Islamic law. This is because Islamic rules say you can't sell or pledge something you don't own or control. So, Qabd makes sure the asset is in the right hands before the contract is complete. There are two main types of Qabd. The first is physical possession, which means the creditor actually takes the item into their control. If it's a movable object like jewelry or cash, this means handing it over physically. For property like land or buildings, it could mean giving access or control over the property. The second type is constructive possession, which is more about legal or symbolic control. For example, registering a mortgage or putting the property under the creditor's name counts as constructive possession. The choice between physical and constructive possession depends on the type of asset and local customs. Usually, for movable assets, physical possession is needed. But for real estate, constructive possession often suffices, especially if it's registered legally. Qabd is important because it shifts the risk. When the creditor takes possession, they are responsible if something happens to the asset. If the asset isn't in their control, the debtor still bears the risk. It also helps prevent disputes about who controls the asset and who's liable if it gets damaged or lost. In Islamic banking today, Rahn is used in many products like Islamic mortgages and secured loans. Banks often accept constructive possession for real estate, using legal documents or registration. For movable assets like cars, physical possession is usually required. If the asset is jointly owned, the owner's consent is necessary before pledging the entire asset. The asset must also be clearly identifiable and compliant with Islamic law. If the pledged asset isn't permissible or doesn't exist, the contract can become invalid. But if the bank took possession in good faith, they are not liable for any loss. Some Islamic schools requiring the creditor to keep possession throughout the contract, while others allow the asset to be returned or entrusted to a third party after initial possession. In summary, Qabd or possession is a vital part of the Rahn contract. It makes sure the asset is under control, transfers risk, and clarifies responsibilities. Whether physical or constructive, Qabd helps keep the process clear and compliant with Islamic rules, protecting everyone involved.